December 1st, just before 1 p.m., and we're in Marietta, Georgia. There's a Department of Driver Services, Health, Public Safety buildings. There's a detention center. I think it's a youth detention center and or an adult detention center. And we're not far from Lockheed, so we may try to go by Lockheed. And we're also close to Dobbins Air Force Base. So we may have a busy day today. So we knocked on the door. It says, please be patient. So let's be, I'm not sure what the reason is you can't record inside this place is or not, but we'll be respectful, I guess. I mean, for sure we'll be respectful, but I'm not sure that's a lawful sign. Sir?
John Ashworth?
Hey John, you're a sworn officer?
No, sir.
We were doing a tour of Marietta, so in the government facilities today, and what we're going to be doing is going to all kind of public government buildings and just talking with the employees and maybe officers. So we saw that this building is here, and we walked up to it, and I noticed you have signs on the door that say no recording without express permission.
That's not up to me to decide.
No, I know, but is this a public area? Like, would a member of the public go in here?
I honestly don't know. I can ask the sergeant if he wants to speak with you, but I can't actually answer that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Because I don't want to be disrespectful and just walk in when I see that sign. So anyway, yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
1 second, okay?
Uh-huh.
Need something?
Hey, how you doing, sir?
All right.
Yeah, we are doing a tour, really, of all the facilities in Marietta right here. This is like government building row, it seems. And so obviously we saw this building. I had looked it up on the map. I thought this was a regional youth detention center.
That's up the street.
That's up the street? Okay, so we'll check that out. But while we were just walking around here, we noticed the visitor center, so we wanted to come and visit, see what kind of services are offered, that kind of thing. And I see that right here, it says public entry.
Yep.
But if we close this door, it says you need express permission to video or audio record inside.
That is correct.
Do you know 42 USC and what happened?
I'm not going to discuss the merits of that statement. I'm only here to enforce it. So you're welcome to video out here.
Yeah.
Record out here, but you're not allowed to do it inside. If you do, you'll be arrested for criminal trespass, and then you can argue the merits with the judge.
So instead of enforcing the law, do
you have any other questions about our policies? I'm not arguing the law.
I wasn't. I was just asking a question. So if you want me to ask a question, please don't interrupt me when I'm doing so.
Have a nice day, sir.
Okay. So the visitor center wasn't very friendly. Hey, how you doing, sir?
Doing well. How are you guys?
Good, thanks. Hey, are you an officer?
No, sir.
You're not? Okay. This building is huge.
What's going on, fellas?
Hey, how you doing? We're just in Marietta today on like Government Building Row here.
Okay.
I guess there's tons of stuff. How you doing, sir? What's your name?
Government Building Row.
Yeah, but you got the there's a youth detention center around here.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
there's like the
County
health
Services
and safety.
Parkway you're talking about?
Yeah, there's
Okay.
like bing, bang, bang. There's
Yeah.
all kind of stuff that taxpayer dollar pays
Deputy
for.
Wilson.
Hey, Deputy Wilson. So anyway, we saw this building. We walked up to the visitor center, and I just noticed on the visitor center that there's a sign. Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. That there's a sign that says public entry to the visitor center, but then there's a sign that also says no video or audio recording.
Right, that's inside the building.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we do this a lot. We were in Stevens County doing this. We do this a lot, and so we know that the law states that anywhere the public can go, you can video and audio record. So I was asking the gentleman there, like, why do you have a public entry noted on the door, but then you say we don't care about the right to come in and video? Smith versus Cumming, Georgia, 42 USC. It already
I don't know
states.
if that's about the right that you're questioning, but in the visitor center is the building that we have open to the public.
Yeah, well,
Right
we wanted
now
to go
it's
in
closed.
there.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, that's where we were trying to go.
Yeah. If you go to the side door, because it's currently
We did.
Okay, so
Yeah.
did you talk to the sergeant? Because
Well-
they're the one that's up there that can answer all your questions.
I'm not sure. He was pretty rough. You know, he's pretty short, and he didn't really want to talk about if it was a lawful thing that you're asking a citizen do to violate their right. Freedom of press states that, you know, in the course of your duty, we can go into any public area and video record.
Okay.
And sometimes just the fact that you bring a camera, that you go into places like this, and people who are sworn by oath to protect those rights will tell you that you can't do something that the Constitution affords all of us the right to do.
Okay.
And so sometimes it's just an education thing that what we do. We do this all over Georgia, and we have no ill will to government. Part of this will be used as a social studies project for my daughter, her class project. And so usually, you know, like the government staff will have you go into a DDS and somebody behind the counter will say, hey, you can't do this. And sometimes they'll have to, somebody over them will have to say, hey, actually, this is a First Amendment right. They can do this. This is kind of like when we were in school and the principal would slip into the class and like stand at the back.
Right.
You know, I mean, the whole point was they didn't call the teacher and be like, hey, you got your best, you know, lesson plan, you know, for this tomorrow.
Right.
That's what the First Amendment freedom of press gives responsibility to civilians to do. Do you know what I'm saying? There's no other public job that the boss, I say boss like it's a adversarial thing, but like somebody who was tasked for oversight isn't showing up so that you get most prepared out in the warehouse when you're smoking and you shouldn't have been, or you're doing a great job and that's what you should have been doing. That's what this is about. Sometimes when we go in buildings, we, you know, document what county services you can do, like you can file a complaint here, you can do tax assessor stuff here, and so it's educational. But a lot of times what happens is people who don't know the law and want to act like they do will come out and really have a hard time understanding that this is a responsibility of citizens. Now, in our daily course of life, not a lot of people have the time to go do this, but in order for us, the same laws that keep me in check keep you guys in check. Right? So it's a quid pro quo, right? We have to be out here overseeing all of us. You're overseeing us, and the public by right and duty per the First Amendment is supposed to be out here doing this kind of stuff.
Right.
You know, and some people have a real problem with it, and we don't. We love law enforcement. We just don't want people to be accosted when they come into a government facility where it's owned by the public.
Right.
And the people who work for the public are like, hey, get off my property. You know what I mean? It's not really supposed to be that way.
I hear you. I understand it. I think that, you know, first and foremost, when somebody comes up and they have a situation like we're able to talk right now, you and I, and I don't know what you encountered wherever else
I'm
you
not
went.
meaning to put my hands in my pocket.
No, that's fine.
I got no weapons on me.
I got you. I'm not worried about it. You seem like a pretty level-headed guy, but most of the time when people are approached and they have their cameras out or law enforcement's approached, they feel like, here we go. I'm going to be on whatever social media, getting into an argument with someone who is just out here to bait me into a conversation, to get me to say something to make me look like I'm stupid.
On our channel, one of the things that we do is try to be a good example for folks who should be taking this opportunity to be a part of the de-escalation process. If you're going out to escalate
give me one
something,
sec? I think this guy's
absolutely.
lost.
Yeah.
I'm good. Appreciate it. Yeah. I appreciate you.
Everybody's like, oh shit, he's got a camera.
See what I'm saying?
Oh
It's
shit,
like, when
here goes
people
the
have
nut with a camera.
Then
Right,
people get out. See, here come some of my field ops guys, you know. So this is the situation that we
perfect,
have. Is
okay,
that,
this is absolutely perfect, because this should be an example, like a shining example for Cobb County. Not like, hey, let's go treat this guy like a criminal for doing a legally protected act.
well, I'm like I was saying. That's what,
You know what I mean?
people are used to.
Yeah.
Seeing somebody stand out here and I'm on your camera, and then they're baited into a conversation that
Hey,
makes
man.
us look like we're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
He was just asking a couple questions, Sarge, about the visitor center and being able to record and stuff. So I came out and confronted him out here. Everything's fine. We're just having a friendly conversation.
How you guys doing? Can I get your name and badge number? Can I get your name and badge number?
Why?
Because I like to do that for folks who have a policy to do it, to see if they have a problem with it, or
No, I'm a sergeant with the Cobb County Sheriff's Office.
okay, nice to meet you. What about you, sir?
I'm a sergeant with the Cobb County Sheriff's Office. How you doing? You okay?
Yes, sir.
That's good.
It's cold out here today, ain't it?
It is cold, but it's good to be moving around when it's cold.
It absolutely is.
But my question was, knowing our rights that are protected by the First Amendment and freedom of press, anywhere that is public access on a government building, because it's public property, the 11th Circuit, 42 USC, Smith versus Cumming, Georgia has already said, if the public can go in there, you can go in there with a camera, and it also can't be deemed suspicious activity for just having a camera, because Ninth Circuit's already said anybody with a camera is part of free press. So I went up to the visitor center. There's a ton of government buildings around here, so we were just going to go and document for our own purposes, while I'm also using this for a social studies project for my daughter who's in school. But there's a sign, all signs on the visitor center. It says public entry, but then it also has do not audio video record. That's a violation of the First Amendment. To have somewhere posted as public entry and then say that you can't go in and video and record, it's not lawful. So I'm wondering why there are instructions to trample that right and to ask people or demand, because you come up to a center like this, you guys all have guns. Last thing I want to do is like piss you guys off, right? So by threat of just the very nature of what you guys equip yourself with in public, it's a threat so that somebody can't exercise their right. I'm wondering why that happens here at these buildings.
I think in these buildings, as far as the jail, this is a security issue.
Can I come closer so I can hear what you're saying?
It's a security issue when you go into this. This is the jail.
Yeah, no, I figured that, but I figured, and it doesn't say public entry here. I'm just saying that visitor center is a public lobby where you could go in and I could, ask about somebody that I knew here. I could potentially, I guess, get them out of jail or stuff like that, right? So that's a public place. So to have whoever the sergeant or person in control up there meet me at the door and not want to even engage with a good citizen who's wondering why this violation is occurring, that was disappointing.
And what did they tell you?
They said they had no comment to whether it was public. I asked that since it says public, why can't I go in and video record when the courts say that we can? And they said, well, if you come in here, then I don't know if he said he would take me to jail, but he would trespass me, and that when I get to court, I could argue the merits of the law with the judge. So when you're supposed to be enforcing the law and you don't know the law, or even worse, you know the law and don't care about the law, that seems obtuse. That seems overreaching and just not how this is supposed to work.
You say you're doing this for a project for your daughter?
Well, we do it for many reasons. Sometimes stories get picked up.
You say you was doing this one for
Yeah, some of this will be edited in a way that she can use it for a class project. But there are many things that I do this for. And being a member of the Free Press, such as yourself, when you're not in uniform, you don't want to walk around just for your own purposes. You can go anywhere in public. Just like if somebody was in public juggling, you couldn't really walk up to them and be like, hey man, why are you juggling? What you here for? It should be the same thing when you walk on a public grounds in a public accessible place with a camera. It shouldn't be like, oh shit, there's another camera, you know?
Oh yeah, I don't respond like that.
No, not you necessarily, but it garners that type of aggression. I mean, you know, it's on camera. The guy didn't accost me or threaten me physically or anything like that. He just wasn't very helpful.
His answer wasn't good enough for you, or what you needed for.
No, his answer wasn't lawful, and he's a law enforcement. That's the disconnect, right? So you're telling people things that are unlawful when you're wearing a badge and you're supposed to be enforcing law. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we're not here to like make a scene or be ugly or have any ill will. I love officers, and you know, I'm thankful. I just want to see when people don't know the law and they've sworn oath to uphold the law. That's kind of your job, right? You know, it shouldn't be like the citizen is now like, hey, let's walk up on him and, you know, or her or whoever, and treat them like anything other than a consensual contact.
Right.
You know,
Right.
It's not like, oh, you're under suspicion because you have a kid. That's not how it works, man.
Right.
If we were in the mall and I was shopping or something, you wouldn't come up to me and be like, hey man, what size shirt you wearing? You got your ID? You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't work like that. It's the same thing. Sorry, this mask sucks. Anyway, you guys have been super cool. I would ask you if you guys have someone here in authority that could walk me up to that building and let me in the public access, because last thing I want to do is, I would never try to force my way when I got a guy who's giving me unlawful orders, but maybe somebody could go up there and say, hey, look, you know, it's totally lawful for these guys to be in here and record. So we're going to escort this gentleman in and just let him take a look around, because that's what the Constitution allows.
Well, generally how that works, even when we have our news media and everything, what we do is you get permission from the court, the magistrate judge, and if they give permission, they'll send it back to us, to our admin, then we'll let you video.
No, I understand that that's the rules that you guys like to go by, but it doesn't trump the law. You know what I mean? Like you could make a rule that you don't like chewing gum in there, but if it was a law that you could chew gum in there, it wouldn't matter. Somebody could just walk in and chew gum. And if you're just enforcing the law, you couldn't be like, man, I'm going to give them a hard time because they broke our rule. They're actually legal, law-abiding citizens that shouldn't be infringed on. You should just, you know what I mean? Just like if I was wearing a dress, you know what I mean? There's no, you know, it's the same thing.
Unfortunately, right now, we have to go by our policies and procedures. If you get...
What's your name? I'm sorry, what?
Lieutenant Gordon.
Lieutenant Gordon.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
And we just have to follow the policy and procedure we were given.
Okay, so if somebody walked in, not there because it doesn't say public, but there where it says public, and started recording, how far would you take the violation of their rights? Like, would you handcuff them like they were a criminal? Would you try to treat them like they were actually breaking a law when they weren't breaking a law?
You already.
Yeah, we've pretty much answered all your questions, so we're done.
Okay.
Come on.
You have a
Thank
good day,
you.
okay,
Y'all
brother?
have a good one.
Okay. I mean, sir, do you think that I was being unreasonable? I mean, that's how you lose your liberties. You just allow it to happen. You don't question it. There's a way to question it so that lawful remediation can take place and hopefully citizens see